Two guys after practice. He said the trainer's table works better at home. The locker room buzzed with the familiar post-practice sounds. Locker doors clanging shut, shower water running, and the occasional burst of laughter cutting through teammates' exhausted conversations. It had been a particularly grueling session, with Coach Williams pushing everyone to their limits as the championship game loomed just weeks away. Among the tired athletes, two figures stood out, not just for their athletic prowess but for the unique dynamic they shared. Alex Matthews, the team star forward, meticulously packed his gym bag, every movement precise and deliberate, much like his playing style on the court. His dark hair was still damp from the shower, and his expression carried that intense focus that rarely seemed to leave him, even after practice had ended. Alex had always been the dedicated one, the player who stayed late, arrived early, and treated every drill as if it were the final seconds of a championship game. Just a few lockers down stood Jamie Rodriguez, whose approach to both basketball and life couldn't have been more different from Alex's. Jamie was casually draped across the bench, one leg extended, scrolling through his phone with a relaxed smile playing on his lips. His curly hair was still untamed, and he hadn't bothered changing out of his practice shorts yet. While Alex lived for the game's structure and discipline, Jamie played with an intuitive flow that couldn't be taught, a natural talent paired with a laid-back charm that made him popular with everyone on the team. Despite their differences, or perhaps because of them, Alex and Jamie had developed a friendship that surprised everyone, including themselves. Their bond had formed gradually over the past 2 seasons. It started with Jamie's persistent efforts to crack Alex's serious demeanor with jokes during water breaks, continued through late-night strategy sessions before big games, and solidified during summer training camps where they were often paired as roommates. They balanced each other perfectly. Alex helped Jamie focus when it mattered most, while Jamie reminded Alex that basketball, for all its importance, was still just a game meant to be enjoyed. "Man, I think Coach was trying to kill us today," Jamie groaned, stretching his arms overhead until his joints popped audibly. "My shoulders feel like concrete." Alex glanced over, zipping his bag closed. "That's what happens when you don't do your proper warm-up stretches. I've told you 100 times. Yeah, Mr. Perfect Form." Jamie rolled his eyes good-naturedly. "We can't all be robots programmed for optimal athletic performance." Their teammates chuckled as they filtered out, used to the friendly banter between the two. Soon, the locker room had nearly emptied, leaving just a handful of stragglers, including Alex and Jamie. "Seriously though," Jamie continued, wincing as he rotated his shoulder, "I'm gonna need to spend some quality time on the trainer's table tomorrow. This is killing me." Alex nodded sympathetically. The trainer's table was a sacred space for athletes, that padded platform where aching muscles found relief under the skilled hands of the team's physical therapists. It represented care and recovery, a place where vulnerability was acceptable even among the most competitive players. Everyone on the team understood its importance, the way it symbolized the support system that kept them functioning at their best. "You should get Marcus to work on that before it tightens up too much," Alex suggested, referring to the team's head trainer. "He's usually still around this time of day." Jamie's expression shifted then, a mischievous glint appearing in his eyes as he leaned slightly closer to Alex. "Nah, I've got a better solution. You know, I've discovered the trainer's table actually works better at home." Alex paused, water bottle halfway to his lips, confusion evident on his face. "What are you talking about?" "We have professional equipment here." Jamie laughed, that warm, infectious sound that always seemed to lighten the atmosphere around him. "Trust me on this one. Everything's better when you're comfortable, in your own space, no rush, no teammates waiting their turn." He hesitated for just a moment before adding, "I've got my own setup at home. Nothing fancy, but it does the job. Better than here, actually." Alex raised an eyebrow, not entirely sure what Jamie was suggesting. "You have a massage table at your apartment? Since when?" "Since my uncle upgraded his chiropractic office and gave me his old one," Jamie explained, standing up and gathering his things with unusual quickness. "It's professional grade, just like the ones here. I've been teaching myself some basic techniques too. You'd be surprised how good I've gotten." There was something in Jamie's tone that Alex couldn't quite place, a hint of nervousness beneath the casual invitation that followed. "You should come over sometime. I could help you out with those tight shoulders you're always complaining about." The offer hung in the air between them, seemingly simple, yet somehow weighted with unspoken meaning. Alex felt a flutter of something unfamiliar in his chest. Anticipation, perhaps, or nervousness. He and Jamie had spent plenty of time together outside of practice, but always in group settings or in public places like coffee shops where they discussed game strategies. The invitation to Jamie's home, to his personal space, felt like crossing a boundary they hadn't approached before. "I don't know," Alex said hesitantly, suddenly very interested in adjusting the strap of his gym bag. "I'm not really into the whole massage thing." This wasn't entirely true. Alex had regular sessions with the team's physical therapists, but the idea of Jamie's hands working on his muscles created a different kind of tension altogether. It was a complication he wasn't sure he was ready to acknowledge. Jamie seemed to sense his hesitation. "Just an offer, man. No pressure. But after the way Coach ran us today, you're going to be feeling it tomorrow." He shouldered his own bag, that easy smile returning. "Plus, I make a mean protein smoothie afterward. Recovery nutrition and all that. Isn't that what you're always preaching?" Alex couldn't help but smile at that. Jamie had been listening to his nutrition talks after all. "Fine," he found himself saying before he could overthink it. "But if you make my injury worse, I'm telling Coach it was your fault when I can't play next week." "Deal?" Jamie's face lit up with genuine pleasure. "Tomorrow evening? Say around 7. "Sure," Alex agreed, trying to ignore the strange anticipation building inside him. It was just a massage from a teammate, he told himself. Nothing more. But as they walked out of the locker room together, Alex couldn't help wondering if there was something more to Jamie's invitation. Over the past few months, he'd caught himself watching Jamie more often than necessary, admiring the graceful way he moved on the court, the easy charm he had with everyone, the quiet moments of determination that showed there was more depth to him than most people realized. Alex had pushed these thoughts aside, attributing them to admiration for a talented teammate, but now they resurfaced with new intensity. The next day passed in a blur of classes and a lighter recovery practice. Alex found himself distracted, missing passes that would normally be automatic and earning a concerned look from Coach Williams. "Head in the game, Matthews," he'd called out more than once. But Alex's thoughts kept drifting to the evening ahead, to Jamie's apartment, to what it might mean that his stomach tightened with nervousness every time he thought about it. By the time 7 o'clock approached, Alex had changed outfits 3 times before settling on simple basketball shorts and a clean t-shirt. Casual enough to seem effortless, but nice enough to show he'd made an effort. He stood outside Jamie's apartment door, hand raised to knock, when he realized how ridiculous he was being. This was Jamie, his teammate, his friend. There was no reason for his heart to be racing like he was about to step onto the court for a championship game. He knocked, and the door opened almost immediately, as if Jamie had been waiting nearby. "Hey, you made it." Jamie greeted him with that signature smile, dressed similarly in comfortable clothes, his apartment smelling faintly of something spicy and delicious. "Come on in." Jamie's apartment was exactly what Alex might have expected, comfortable rather than tidy, with basketball memorabilia mixed with family photos, a gaming setup in one corner, and textbooks stacked haphazardly on a coffee table. What he hadn't expected was how immediately at ease he felt, as if he'd been here 100 times before. "Make yourself at home," Jamie said, gesturing toward the living room. "Can I get you something to drink? Water? Sports drink." "Water's fine," Alex replied, following Jamie into the kitchen area. "Your place is nice." Jamie laughed. "It's a mess and you know it. But it's home." He handed Alex a glass of water. "The table's set up in the spare room. I use it as a sort of home gym/study when I need quiet." He led Alex down a short hallway to a room that was surprisingly neat compared to the rest of the apartment. True to his word, a professional-looking massage table occupied the center of the space, with a small shelf of oils and lotions nearby. A basketball hoop was mounted on one wall, and a desk with a laptop and textbooks sat in the corner. "Impressive," Alex admitted, genuinely surprised by the setup. "You weren't kidding about taking this seriously." Jamie shrugged, suddenly appearing slightly nervous. "My mom's a physical therapist. I grew up watching her help people. Guess some of it rubbed off." He gestured to the table. "So you want to do this? I promise I know what I'm doing." There was that flutter in Alex's chest again, stronger now. "Yeah," he said, his mouth slightly dry despite the water he'd just drunk. "Where do you want me? You can keep your shorts on, but the shirt should come off so I can actually reach your muscles." Jamie instructed, turning to the shelf to select a bottle of oil. Then just lie face down on the table. There's a face rest at the top. Alex pulled his t-shirt over his head, suddenly very aware of Jamie's presence in the small room. He'd been shirtless around his teammates countless times in locker rooms and during training, but this felt different, more intimate somehow. He climbed onto the table as instructed, positioning his face in the padded rest, arms hanging loosely at his sides. Comfortable? Jamie asked, his voice closer now. Yeah, Alex mumbled, trying to relax despite the tension he felt throughout his body. Good. I'm going to start with your shoulders since you mentioned they've been bothering you. Let me know if anything hurts or if the pressure is too much. Then Jamie's hands were on him, warm and slick with oil, and Alex had to concentrate on keeping his breathing steady. Jamie started gently, just getting a feel for the muscles, before gradually increasing the pressure as he worked on the knots that had formed from years of intense training. Man, you're tight, Jamie commented, thumbs pressing into a particularly stubborn knot. Do you ever actually relax? Alex winced slightly as Jamie hit a sensitive spot. Not really. There's always something to work on, something to improve. That's what I've always admired about you, Jamie said, his voice softer now. Your dedication. But sometimes I worry you're missing out on just enjoying the moment. The conversation flowed more easily than Alex had anticipated, perhaps because he didn't have to make eye contact, perhaps because Jamie's hands were working magic on his tense muscles, releasing physical and emotional tension with each passing minute. They talked about basketball at first, safe territory, before drifting to classes, family, and eventually dreams beyond college. I don't know if I'll make it to the pros, Jamie admitted as his hands moved down to work on Alex's lower back. I love the game, but I'm thinking about physical therapy school. Following in Mom's footsteps, you know. You'd be good at it, Alex murmured, surprised at how relaxed he felt now. You've got good hands. There was a brief pause in Jamie's movements. Thanks, he said, and Alex thought he detected a smile in his voice. What about you? NBA's calling your name. Maybe, Alex said. That's the dream. But sometimes I wonder if I want it because it's what everyone expects from me or because it's what I actually want. And what do you want, Alex? Jamie asked, his hands gentler now, almost caressing rather than massaging. The question hung in the air, loaded with meaning that extended far beyond career choices. Alex felt his heart rate accelerate again, but not from anxiety this time. Something was happening between them. Something had been happening for months, perhaps. And here, in the quiet intimacy of this room, it was becoming impossible to ignore. I'm not sure anymore, Alex admitted, his voice barely above a whisper. I thought I knew, but lately. Jamie's hands stilled on his back. Lately what? Alex took a deep breath. Lately I've been thinking about things I never expected. Feelings I didn't plan for. The room fell silent except for their breathing. Then Jamie spoke, his voice carrying a vulnerability Alex had never heard before. I didn't actually need to work on my shoulders yesterday. Alex turned his head slightly, trying to see Jamie's face. What? I made it up, Jamie confessed. I just wanted an excuse to get you here. Alone. Alex's heart was pounding now. Why? Jamie's hands moved away, and Alex felt the loss of contact immediately. Maybe you should sit up for this conversation. Alex pushed himself up, turning to sit on the edge of the table, suddenly very aware of his bare chest and the intensity in Jamie's eyes as they faced each other. I've been trying to find the courage to tell you something for months, Jamie said, running a hand through his curls nervously. But I was afraid of messing up our friendship, the team dynamic, everything. Alex waited, hardly daring to breathe. I like you, Alex. Not just as a teammate or a friend. I like you in a way that keeps me up at night thinking about your smile, the way you furrow your brow when you're concentrating on a play, how you're the first person I want to talk to when something good or bad happens. Jamie took a shaky breath. And if that freaks you out, I understand. We can pretend this never happened and go back to. Jamie, Alex interrupted, reaching out to grasp Jamie's wrist. Stop talking. Jamie froze, eyes wide with uncertainty. I've been fighting these feelings for months, Alex continued, his voice steadier than he felt. Telling myself it was just admiration, just friendship. But it's more than that. It's always been more. The relief that washed over Jamie's face was beautiful to witness. Really? You're not just saying that. Instead of answering with words, Alex leaned forward, closing the distance between them. The kiss was gentle at first, tentative, both of them still afraid of breaking something precious. But then Jamie's hands were in his hair, and Alex was pulling him closer, and there was nothing tentative about it anymore. When they finally pulled apart, breathless, Jamie rested his forehead against Alex's. "So the trainer's table really does work better at home," he said with a grin. Alex laughed, feeling lighter than he had in years. "I think you might be right about that." In the weeks and months that followed, they navigated their new relationship with the same complementary dynamic that had characterized their friendship. Alex brought structure and thoughtfulness, making sure they communicated clearly about boundaries and expectations, particularly around the team. Jamie brought spontaneity and joy, surprising Alex with small gestures that broke through his tendency to overthink everything. They faced challenges, of course, deciding when and how to tell their teammates, managing the occasional raised eyebrow or whispered comment, balancing their relationship with the demands of being student athletes. But they discovered that the same skills that made them strong on the court, communication, trust, support, made them strong as partners too. The trainer's table remained a running joke between them, a symbol of the moment their relationship transformed. Jamie continued to develop his massage skills, and Alex became his willing practice subject, their physical connection deepening alongside their emotional one. They learned each other's bodies, the sensitive spots, the chronic injuries, the places that held tension, with an intimacy that went beyond the physical. As the season progressed, their team noticed the change in both of them. Alex played with a new freedom, still disciplined but less rigid, finding joy in the game again. Jamie showed new focus, channeling his natural talents with greater purpose. Together, they elevated not just each other, but everyone around them. By the time the championship game arrived, the one Coach Williams had been pushing them toward all season, Alex and Jamie had found a balance that seemed impossible just months earlier. In the locker room before the game, amid the nervous energy and pep talks, Jamie caught Alex's eye across the room and mouthed the words that had become their private mantra, "Better at home." Alex smiled, understanding the layers of meaning. Better at home. Better when they were true to themselves. Better when they were together. Better when they weren't afraid to show who they really were. They won the championship that night, with Jamie making the assist and Alex scoring the winning basket in the final seconds. As their teammates erupted in celebration around them, Jamie pulled Alex into a hug that lingered just long enough to say everything words couldn't in that moment. Later, when the celebrations had died down and they were alone in Jamie's apartment, Alex reflected on the journey that had brought them here. "You know," he said, tracing patterns on Jamie's arm as they lay together on the couch, "when you said the trainer's table works better at home, I had no idea how right you would be." Jamie smiled, pressing a kiss to Alex's temple. "Home isn't just a place, it's a feeling. And I've never felt more at home than when I'm with you." In that moment, Alex understood that regardless of what came next, whether professional basketball or different paths entirely, they had found something rare and precious. A partnership built on friendship, strengthened by difference, and deepened by love. All because Jamie had the courage to suggest that some things simply work better at home. Total_char_count. 18,634.